Hello everybody, it's Jade Plays Games. Today we're going to be talking about PIXARK. What has gone wrong with PIXARK? Why has it taken so long for there to be multiplayer on the Xbox One Early Access version? And how is PIXARK doing overall? You guys know I've been trying to keep you up to date with what's going on, and a few weeks ago I made an update video talking about PIXARK pretty much just being a bit crap. The way they've not communicated to the Xbox people, the way they've just been constantly updating stuff on Twitter but not actually giving anyone any information about the multiplayer update has been pretty poor. Also, I want your opinion and your feedback on whether or not I should even bother doing any more PIXARK content. So let's go, special access show talking about PIXARK. Okay, it all started on Twitter. PIXARK has been pretty vocal. Up till release, they were tweeting, they were replying to people. Anyone had any little questions, they would often get replies. Lots of YouTubers and streamers were curious about different ways the game would work. And of course, as the game was coming out, they were answering lots of these questions. Fast forward though, and after a month or so of release, you can now see that their Twitter profile is drying up. Now, Twitter is not the only way that they communicate with people. They also have a Reddit where they can sometimes post stuff. And they also talk about the Steam options page here where they can do posts. But of course this is mostly related to Steam. It's not it's not a proper forum site, and so having something like Twitter where they generally get a lot of followers following them, 10k followers is not bad after 2 months. It's a probably good bet to update all your social media platforms, not just one of them, and keep everyone in a loop. If you don't know, the problems lie with the console version. Now, console version is early access just like Steam. So if we go back 4 weeks, in fact over 4 weeks, we will see this tweet on April the 5th that says multiplayer servers are still scheduled for next week, stay tuned. That was after a really important update that fixed a lot of the main issues and problems with even being able to just play the game. Now lots of you are still complaining that if you move from biome to biome it still crashes quite a lot, and there are definitely lots of issues with the game. Now I've defended that in a previous video. I spoke about the importance of it being early access and why that even with all these crashes and problems we still have to just accept it because it is an early access game. That's what early access is. What I don't accept and what I can't defend is when they don't communicate. So bearing in mind that tweet was on the 5th of April, we have heard absolutely nothing until recently, a couple of days ago. And in that time they've retweeted and tweeted out little videos that they're doing, showing off the game in their own little way on their proper official YouTube channel. And they've also been retweeting paid sponsorships. These guys have all been paid to stream it, and they've obviously tweeted it and retweeted their streams to generate interest and generate hype. Now, a few weeks ago I said to you guys, I sent an email and asking what was going on with the Xbox certification. I expressed the importance of keeping people informed. One of the people there that works on the community management team emailed me back and said it was going through certification this week and hopefully it will be there soon. That was two and a half weeks ago now. By the time the update comes out, and obviously it's not coming out this weekend because they don't work on weekends, you can expect it maybe Monday or Tuesday if it passes. But the fact it must have failed already, because Microsoft updates don't take 2.5 weeks normally unless there's a specific issue or it's about to launch out of early access. When it goes through full launch, that's when they can take up to a month. But normally you can get an update out within a few hours if it passes its testing. So all that stuff is pretty just keeping you in the loop what's going on. We've had 4 weeks of silence, nothing on Twitter, nothing on the Steam forums, nothing on Reddit. Nowhere was there to be found anything to do with PIXARK. Now there was an update on the PIXARK France website. Now this is not an official website, this is actually just a fan made website. So they got this information from the patch notes, and this was about a week and a half ago, maybe 10 days ago near. So there's a bunch of things they're going to be doing. They're balancing against level 3 and 4 creatures, they've adjusted copper stuff, fixed a bunch of problems. Hopefully these are going to be real quality of life improvements to the game. Now none of this really matters if we can't actually get the game to work. Now the reason I'm asking whether or not PIXARK has failed is because the negative reaction I've seen so many of you have. That's why I've not done any videos on my channel talking about PIXARK or necessarily showing any gameplay. I've got Let's Play sitting there that I've done with Frisonis, a good friend of mine. I've also got loads of tutorials I've made. I've done building guides, and they're literally all sitting in private that I'm not going to publish. Now I may publish them when we get some updates and it's looking a bit more rosy, but it's a real piss poor way to treat your fans. And this isn't the first time that Snail Games, the makers of PIXARK, have done this. It's a year ago that Dark and Light launched. It was meant to be a fantasy Ark Survival Evolved MMORGs type game. It brought loads of stuff from the Ark Survival Evolved world in terms of creatures, and it even had the same codes because they'd utilised the same engine. Initially it launched pretty well, pretty respectable, 14,000 players, 12,000 players, but it quickly died. In just under 2 months it lost half its player base, and since then it has flatlined to almost catastrophic player bases. Now this is just a snapshot from every Monday that you see, so there are different days and better days. The weekends particularly are more busier. So if we look at the last 7 days, you can see it goes up and down. So that's not even a real true reflection of the players. That's only just on a Monday. Every Monday it measures it. To have as little as 255 players playing on a game like this is really, really piss poor. And sadly, PIXARK has died even quicker than Dark and Light did. It didn't even take 2 months for it to drop half its player base. It done that in just over a month. And while it's got a little bit of stability now, it hasn't declined any further in the last 2 or 3 weeks on PC. It's maintained a steady little, just nice little line. PIXARK looks like it's going to go the same way that Dark and Light went. Now Dark and Light died because it didn't have enough content updates. Now Dark and Light died because it didn't have enough content updates. It was also really, really poor in optimization. Now we all know and joke about Ark Survival Evolved being really poor and it's just not a particularly finished game, and it's not. You ask anyone out there to review Ark, objectively, and look at it from early access to launch, the game has not been optimized to what we would probably assume would be a good high quality standard. There's still way too many problems with the game that have affected its popularity over time, and it seems like Snail Games, who own Wildcard, have taken that same approach to just put content into a game but not necessarily find out if it's actually doing a good job and running properly. So that's one of the factors that contribute to Dark and Light dying. And I think it's going to be one of the factors that contributes to PIXARK. Now PIXARK is meant to be a simpler, easier game to develop. It's a pixel, voxel based game. They generally are a little bit easier. The only thing you have a problem with games like this is memory. Believe it or not, you can use as much memory running a PIXARK server as you can something like Ark Survival Evolved. That's because of the building nature, where you can place blocks down anywhere. Now you can build and do all sorts of things in Dark and Light and Ark Survival Evolved, but it's still not as memory consuming as it is in PIXARK. That's why when people build these huge mega bases in Ark or games like that, it consumes so much memory it makes the area laggy. The computer just can't keep up, and so it starts buffering and making people have real trouble loading in the base or going through that area because it's still calculating everything that needs to be calculated. And when you minus that down to little blocks, these tiny little blocks that you could build all sorts of intricate little things with, it makes the game even more unreliable. And this is a real shame because I assumed it would be easier to develop PIXARK because it's just a more simplistic nature. Can PIXARK recover? The thing is, we talk about games dying a lot, and if you just go over some of my YouTube comments, if you go through my comments section on my video, or particularly on Twitter, you'll just see the same people commenting and saying how disappointed they are. Not because PIXARK's necessarily a buggy game or because it's got problems, but in the way that it's been treating their community. PIXARK has been popular. People have been buying it on the Xbox One in quite large numbers. And so for a community to actually be ignored, for a company just not to say anything at all, has been really bad practice, and that is what's made the decision even worse. The same thing happened with Dark and Light to a degree. They didn't really update the community for a while and just announced these big updates with no information going on it. Without any real community team either, Dark and Light has died. If we take a look at my sidebar of some of the bigger YouTubers that are covering the game, they're probably still getting quite a few views because there definitely are people that are playing it on PC and enjoying the game and don't have the same problems. And underneath everything, I still think PIXARK's a great game. I still think the concept of it and the idea of it is really solid. Why not take something like Ark Survival Evolved and make it a little bit simpler and make it more interesting to play with and do things in creativity? But the sad fact is, this game is never going to achieve the heights it needs to if they keep on developing it like this. If the only time they talk to us is when an update is dropping and then can't explain why they were late after saying it would come out, there's going to be a real problem in the future. And bearing in mind this is the first 2 months of it being out as a full game on early access. Not an alpha, not a closed behind doors beta, but actually early access, and we're getting treated like this as a community. All the PlayStation fans I know are laughing their heads off because, again, it shows the real bad side of early access games. You can just be left high and dry by developers that don't just give a crap about your community. And I say your community, but it's their community. It's their players. It's their people that are spending their money and playing this game. So yeah, I'm disappointed. I had high hopes for PIXARK. I put a lot of time and effort into some of my tutorials and guides, but I just really don't want to put them out while there's such negativity about it. I'm not a Let's Player person, as it were, so I'm not going to necessarily be like these other people like Zujin here, having 46 episodes of it already. That's just not how I work or how I play stuff. I like playing games, I like doing guides, tutorials, I like doing shorter things. So if I haven't got the hype generated by you guys enjoying that content, there is just not much point in me doing it. So there you go, just a little bit of more background information if you've not caught up with what's going on with PIXARK, and I guess a warning, if you're thinking of buying PIXARK, first time I would say don't. I hyped this game up to the max. I thought it was going to be great, it was going to be amazing, and the sad state of affairs that has been the last 6 weeks has just really shown that you can't always just go by what a game looks like. If the development team can't take the time to talk to the people that are supporting the game, then you know what? They're not worthy of me promoting it. And in a way, that's what YouTubers do. You play the game, you enjoy the game, but particularly the way that I do my stuff and my content, I am promoting games. I don't get paid for it, not legitimately anyway, not by the people that make the games, but as a way, that's part of my channel. So I want to be more careful in what I do. I've always come back and spoken at length about things that are wrong and things that are crap with a game, particularly Ark Survival Evolved if you've watched me for a long time. But I just don't even want to bother with PIXARK. I haven't played it in weeks, I'm not going to touch it either. Maybe when the update comes out, I'll do a little video to tell you guys it's live and we'll check it out together. And maybe I'll release a couple of the videos that I have sitting in private. If I get a good enough reaction from it, I may carry on doing some PIXARK stuff. But honestly, I just feel like it's dead. I really can't recommend the game to anyone. I can't recommend anyone picking it up on Xbox in the state it is at the moment. While we expect bugs and crashes and issues, the fact they haven't even brought the multiplayer out now is a real problem. So yeah, hopefully things can change. I really do hope things change. I was really looking forward to it. I was really hoping it would be something new and fresh. It would take away the grind and the no life attitude of Ark Survival Evolved and make it just a bit quicker and a bit easier. But even still in PIXARK, it's still a bit of a grind. You let me know what you think about PIXARK. Obviously, I know there's going to be a lot of people being negative, and quite rightly so. But in terms of the core experience, how have you enjoyed it? Are you still playing it? Do you see PIXARK picking up and becoming bigger than it is, getting through its problems? I hope I'm wrong. I really hope they start talking to the community more and they start giving us more information about stuff in the next few months ahead. But it just doesn't bode well that the first 2 months of the game being out and they've just treated their fan base like crap. I am Jade Plays Games for in-depth guides, tutorials, news and opinion about the games that I like and you guys like. Make sure you've got notifications turned on. Like I said, let me know what you think about PIXARK and let's see what happens if it comes good when the update comes out for Xbox later on next week. Until then, ratbags, I'll see you lot later.